So here we are inside Power BI Desktop, and we're going to be using this tool to import and clean up some Asylum data that we're going to get from the internet. So if we go ahead and click Get Data, you'll see all of the different various sources that we can get data from. We care about this Excel one at the top, so we'll go ahead and connect to that. You'll see this is where I've already downloaded the data to on my local hard drive. So I'll just go and connect to the Excel workbook that I care about. And then this is the navigator view. So over here we're able to select individual tabs here from the Excel workbook, and we get a preview of what that tab looks like. So we care about this AS_03 and if this was in a better format and it didn't say things like column 1, column 2 at the top, we'd be able to click load and it would load that data straight in, and we could start making visuals from it straight away. But we're going to need to do some cleanup here on this data. So we'll click edit instead. And this will bring us into the query editor. You'll see it does store a preview, so it caches data that you've looked at previously. If I wanted to go and grab a fresh one, I could click refresh there if the data's updated in any way. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these top 3 rows because that's just the metadata. And then I can click over here and say use first row as headers, and that's going to promote that first row to being the column headers for all of these. Now one thing we're going to be doing as well is using Power BI to aggregate up some of these totals. So we don't need these totals down here that are denoted with this asterisk. So we can just go ahead and filter those out. So we can come in here and do a simple text filter on does not contain. And over here we can say star total. I don't think there are any other asterisks in there, but we'll use star total anyway. And that'll get rid of all of the total rows there. And what we also want to get rid of are these total applications for total applications, total male applications. We'll just hold control to select multiple columns, and we'll go across to this total female applications as well. And then we'll just hit delete, and that's going to get rid of those columns. So we'll go back over to the right hand side now, and you'll see here on this first stage, you see we've got this Z, so we're going to be wanting to filter that out shortly. So we'll come to that in a minute, but we'll want all numeric values in here, and Z's not gonna work. But for now, what we will do is select these first 3 columns, and what we then want to do is, if we right click on the column headers, we can say unpivot other columns, and if I click that, you'll see what it's going to do. It's going to take all of the other column headers and stick them in this attribute column, and then their values in this other values column. So what we will go ahead and call this is total, like that. And then this attribute one, we could actually split this out for a bit more granularity, so we can split this into a gender column and an age range column. So by the way we would do that is we select the column here, and then we'll say split column, like that, and we'll say by delimiter, and in this case it's a colon, so we will select colon like that. I think it only occurs once, but I'll just do leftmost delimiter just so it makes sure it only splits it into 2 columns here. So I'll do that like that, and you'll see it's got this extra gap here. So one thing we can do just to get rid of some of that formatting stuff is to say clean here under the format button, and that's going to go ahead and do that there for us. So what we've also got is this null, so actually we want to say age unknown for that, just so that we've got some consistency. So if I go and select that there, and then I select on the null, and I will say replace values, like that. And you see it said null as the value to find, and we'll replace that with age unknown, like that. And then we can just double check that we've grabbed everything by saying load more, like that. It's going to grab all of our values in there, and you can see there's no duplication, so that's what we're looking for. And the same over here, we again click load, no duplication or misspelt gender categories. So now we've done that, we can come over here double click this, call it gender, double click this, call it age range, like that. And then down here we will have a little look down, expand this out, and we should down the bottom get to Z. Yeah, so we're just going to filter that out because I think that's where no data has been captured, so we will filter that out like that. And then so that we can use this to sum up, we will put that as a whole number. I don't think there's any decimals in there, so we'll put that as a whole number. Over here we've got the year column. Now we could use this as it is, but we certainly don't want to be pulling in a year column and it try and sum up the value of all of the years as if they were 2008. So we can get around that by creating our own custom column. So first of all, we'll just change that to a text value so that we can work with it here, and we will say we went to the add column ribbon and then press the add column button. Over here we can then say date equals, and then we'll just put a generic first day of the year in there like this in quotes, with then an ampersand followed by, and we will double click year like that. And that's going to go ahead and create a date field for us, formatted in the right way, and now we can change that into a date, and we should be able to see that that'll work. And over here I'll keep that as a text. We may want to filter like that, but that's essentially it. We can go ahead and name this to Asylum data, and then I think we're ready to import. So when we're ready, we come back to the Home tab and we click Close and Apply. So here we are inside Power BI desktop again. We're now looking at the canvas view, and this is just the canvas that we can drop some of our fields onto to start creating visuals. So you can see we'll drag on the total there, and we can change the visual around. We can put it like that, we can put it over here like this, and then we might want to pull in, say, gender, like that, onto the axis. And resize, just make that one there. It's a total, we could use a donut, like that. We can go ahead and we can change the colours there to something that makes more sense for that, or to your individual colours. We'll choose that, and that one can be that. There we go. And over here we'll pull on total again, and then we'll say geographical region, and then country, nationality underneath, like that. And we can start to build up a hierarchy then that we can drill down into. So we could look at, change these around so it's easier to read. We can also pull on colour saturation like that and start to do some gradient stuff too. So we can say minimum good, maximum bad, or we can put in a divergent in the middle. Like that. Then we can toggle that off and we can click the individual here. We can also go and change how those interact as well. So if we go to the Format tab, Edit Interactions, we can now change it to this here. We'll put some numbers on there so it's easier to read. Under Data Labels, we go down and we'll change that to values as well. And you can then see, as we slice through, we'll see the different mixes of male to female in the different regions there. We can put in a total like this as well. Maybe we want to like that size, make it a bit smaller. You see we've now got What we can now look at is age range down here. There we go, we can see some age range split, and again we'll change the edit interactions on that as well. And you can see the spread of age ranges coming from different countries as well, and we can do similar things with the colour saturation here. Like this. You can come in here and change the minimum to a light purple, darker purple, like there. And over here, this is getting down to ridiculous numbers. So why don't we filter this? Why don't we filter this down to say top 10 filtering? So top N, top 10. And then we'll bring total down. Put filter, and we'll bring that. And we could take this out here, take this hierarchy out, and then we've got our top 10 countries seeking asylum in the UK. So Iran being the top one, and again we can see then the spread of the age ranges and the spread of male to female. You can see Afghanistan, it's clear majority of people coming from Afghanistan are male. Some of the others are less predominant. In fact, in Zimbabwe we have the majority of the applicants are female. And you can see quite an interesting spread on this histogram that we've got going on down the bottom here as well. And we could reorder this if we had more time. We could make sure that 5 went at the beginning rather than at the end. We can order by another column, so we can sort that one out as well. But just for simplicity, let's go ahead and publish this up. So this is going to ask me. So once we've finished publishing, we'll get this little pop-up telling us that it was successful, and we click the first link. That'll take us to our newly created report in the service. Just wait for that to load up. And you'll see it's exactly the same report with exactly the same interactivity as we had previously. If we like, we can come over and we can click Edit the Report. That's going to take us into an editable view of this data, and I can go and shrink that up to there, down here, and then I can add in a filled map like this. And then we will pull in the total as the colour saturation and the country of nationality of the location. And it'll just go away on the internet, go find the boundaries for those different countries, and it should start plotting that onto the map as a filled map. You can see it's done it with colour saturation, so we can see around the Middle East, concentration of colour there, and down here, I think that's Zimbabwe. And that's all still interactive in exactly the same way as well. Now that I've finished with that, I can come up here and I can click Save, and I can pin that page as a live page onto a dashboard as well. So I click Pin Live Page. It's going to ask us to save first. Just click Save on that. Wait for a few moments while it commits those changes. should prompt us for which dashboard we want to save it to, either an existing one or a new. I've already got one called Asylum dashboard, so I can pin it to that, or I can create a new one. Okay, and now in order to access our dashboard, we can come over to here. We'll expand Asylum. And there we go. There's our newly created dashboard, still interactive, published to the web. And from here, we can go ahead and share that with colleagues, or indeed people outside the organisation, if we want, by clicking this share button. I can either do it to groups like that, or I could do it to individual people as well. And then click